Hello, and thank you for joining me again on this Sunday evening. Well, it's not Sunday for me, but it's Sunday for you. Nonetheless, thank you for joining me and listening to anything I have to say. I'm truly grateful. I want to continue on this series just of reflections on meditation. I've titled this series Return to the Center. Man, I look sick and tired. It's because I'm sick and tired. Sorry. Not feeling great. I'm tired. Bear with me. So I titled this series Return to the Center, named after a book from one of my favorite kind of spiritual ancestors, Father Bede Griffiths. If you've never heard of him or read any of his stuff, you should hear about him and read some of his stuff. It's really, really good. Especially if you're interested in kind of the conversation between Eastern mysticism and Christian spirituality. But anyways, the name of the series is Return to the Center. Return to the center of ourselves through deep spirituality, meditation particularly. We've talked about a number of things pertaining to meditation. I kind of wanted to go deeper into the practice of meditation and just some reflections on it than I have in the past. And that's what we've been doing. We've talked about all kinds of things, meditation hacks, all of that stuff. This week, I want to talk about kind of a side effect of meditation. So, years ago, when I was at New Camaldoli Hermitage in Big Sur, California, it's a hermitage where Father Bede Griffiths actually had some connection to it. Brother David Steindl-Rast, if you're familiar with him, he's also had some connection to that hermitage. It's a place where the practice of meditation and contemplation is taken very seriously, and some very influential people, practitioners, if you will, of meditation, have come through there and out of that hermitage. Well, while I was there, within the first day or two, the monk who was mentoring me during my time, was there for a good chunk of a month. He was talking about the different practices of meditation. He kept throwing books my way. Read this, read this, read this. So I read a lot of great books on meditation. I went into the deep end for sure, and it was wonderful. But I was sitting down with him, having a spiritual conference, if you will, a spiritual direction session. Man, it was so full of wisdom. He talked about the different practices, different ways, basically the meditation hacks. A lot of what I had in the video from, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago, I got from him. But he also warned me that there is a side effect to the practice of meditation that really kind of takes people by surprise. And it's that whenever our minds become more rested, the psyche begins to purge things, right? And so, meditation, a lot of people meditate to feel more peace, to feel more harmony, what have you, to recenter themselves, again, return to the center. And that is a really important side effect, right? It's not all about that, but that is an important part of it. It's like a spiritual high, right? A state of ecstasy that people can achieve. And it's great when it happens. And it makes people want to continue to come back to meditation. But something that a lot of people don't know is that also these kind of past traumas and bad feelings and bad memories can all of a sudden come bubbling up to the surface. There's something in the practice of meditation where a part of a repressive cap comes uncorked, and all this stuff comes bubbling up. And he was explaining it to me, and I'm like, sounds really strange. I don't know if I'm following you. And then sure enough, that night, shit came up. Let's just put it that way. And it wasn't even during the practice of meditation. I had practiced meditation in my room for quite a while before going to bed. But it was in the middle of the night, I just woke up and I was weeping. And it wasn't because I was having dreams or nightmares. I was reliving past traumas. It's like the part of me that had suppressed the memory of these traumas, all of a sudden that had just kind of dissolved. And my body was purging itself my mind was purging itself, my soul was purging itself of not only the remembrance of these past traumas and these past pains, but the feeling. I was like reliving them again, like as traumatized people do, right? When they're triggered, it's not just they're reminded of the past thing that harmed them or hurt them. They're like reliving it emotionally, and that will happen sometimes during meditation, during a season of meditation. And it's happened to me on more than one occasion throughout the course of my life. As I went deeper into my meditation practice at the beginning of the pandemic, especially a lockdown, I had some really deeply seated things come uncorked. And I was real depressed for a few months, actually. It was hard to shake. But your body has to, I believe, and this is the way it's taught spiritually by so many people, and this is what I learned at the Hermitage, is like your body is like seeking to release it. So you have to like live through it again in order to let it go. It's coming up for a reason, because it's coming up and it's coming out, right? It's the pain and all of that stuff, the negative feelings. Your body's trying to release it, just to let it go and not internalize it and hold on to it anymore. And it's a good thing, right? It's your body's purging past trauma. Yeah, and for me, when it happened to me at the Hermitage, when I woke up in the middle of the night, it was two very vivid memories that I had not thought about in a long time of being rejected, especially during my teenage years. And then the event itself was also kind of an awakening, because I realized that a lot of what motivated me at that time, and what had motivated me for years throughout my life, was fear of rejection. And I had developed coping mechanisms and certain patterns of behavior around my fear of rejection, and the way that I even approached people, and the way that I thought about myself. And so even though it was a painful thing, and it sucked to relive it in the moment, right? I'm glad that it happened, because it healed me. It means that healing was going down to a deeper level. So it's almost like when the fullness of healing is coming in, it's like pushing all of the crap out that's kept you back from finding full healing in the past. So yeah. So, the practice of meditation, after some time goes by, it can, or maybe even a short amount of time, it doesn't have to be much, it can do some really wonky things. And I feel like I should probably share this with you, because I think I'm glad that the monk shared it with me, because it would have just completely taken me off guard whenever it happened. And I'd have been really confused as to why I was reliving past trauma, especially at that time and at that place, right? But the monk gave me a framework to process it and to deal with it, and to understand that it was a natural thing, and that it's the imagery of the body trying to purge itself of this heartache, right? To let it go, to release it. Knowing that helped me get through it, and I got through that actually pretty quickly. Pandemic lockdown time, it took me a little bit longer to get through it, but I got through it for sure. So yeah. So meditation is not going to always leave you feeling like you're in a zenned out state, right? Sometimes it involves a good amount of suffering, especially reliving some past suffering, but it's therapeutic. It's remedial. It's healing, and just knowing that is helpful. That's why I'm sharing it with you now. So I think that's it. Thanks for tuning in, as always. Peace be with you.